That's
or
true.
even the talent
That's
to
so
say
true.
brand X wants to work with you. Nah.
I met the brand manager 2 years ago. I'm never fucking with them.
Who's there?
Yeah.
Nah.
He's a dick. He didn't give me a lighter.
Artists also know who they want to work with or who they don't want to work with.
True.
There's an energy, there's a vibe check.
Yeah.
And if the vibe doesn't check,
then
pick me.
Yeah.
Because I can do this.
How to execute
I
this.
know exactly what needs to happen here. What do you mean you're going to start a podcast? Since when did you start talking?
True.
Oh, you speak?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
that's
you
true.
know?
That's true.
Or you
That's
love
true.
fashion?
Yeah.
Or you do this? So people tend to project.
Yeah, they project.
Because maybe they've got something they want to do and they can't do it. They feel like no one else can do it.
It's more about them and less about you.
Yeah.
And you're live on Dead Radio.
Welcome to another episode of Dead Radio. We only deal with very, very special guests, and today is no different. I'm gonna let her introduce herself, and then we're gonna get into her life story and extract as many jewels as you guys as we can possibly get.
Hi, my name is Lebogang Kgothadi, and I am a brand and marketing specialist, or guru, as some people say. I mostly, my work is in the entertainment space, mostly music. I've worked at media agencies, at advertising agencies, and of course, long-standing at a record label. That's me in short.
Okay. Just to begin, how are you feeling today?
If I were to give it out of 10, I'd say a solid 6.
A solid 6. Okay, but it's beginning of the year. It's fine.
It's like
it'll go up.
I don't know if there's such a thing as beginning of year fatigue.
I hear that.
But I think it's just like end of year just tinting out. So there's still a bit of sluggishness.
Okay.
But at the same time, trying to gear up
for the year.
The new season. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm alright.
I want to start in the beginning. Where are you from? Where did you grow up? Yeah, what type of kid were you?
Very good kid.
The good kids never say that they were good kids.
The good kid. So actually born in Joburg.
Okay.
When I was born, we were staying in Katlehong. But I don't remember
East
that
Rand.
time, which is in the East Rand, right? Yeah. I don't remember my time in the East Rand at all because we left when I was a baby.
Okay.
Or at least just before I turned 1.
Okay.
And then we moved to a place called Kwamhlanga.
Okay.
Because my dad had business there, so it just made sense to go there. I think we stayed there for like 3-4 years. And then we moved to Bronkhorstspruit.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
On a plot. So I grew up actually on a plot. So because it was so, I'd say secluded or away from people, our life was really in and out of the town. So mostly Pretoria. Okay. My primary school was in, I'll call it the Bronx, saying Bronkhorstspruit, we're going to be here for the whole day. Yeah. The Bronx. And then I went to high school in Pretoria. Okay. I was a boarder. And
boarding school.
I was a boarder into Pretoria High School for Girls. And then I went to TUKS.
Okay.
So literally from Girls Eye to TUKS, which is just across the road. So I'd say most of my memories.
Yeah, formative years.
I'd say Pretoria. Yes.
Okay.
And of course then moved back to Joburg, if you want to call it back, about 10 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
What type of kid were you?
Reserved. Yeah, very bubbly.
Okay.
It was easy for me to make friends.
Okay.
It's a bit of a chubby chubs. I mean, I still am. Very bubbly, very, I loved, meeting new people. I'm very social, right? So I just love people. I wasn't very sporty, but I did dabble into like your netball, a bit of cross country, but very cultural. So I was in the choirs, I did drama.
So those were the seeds that were planted then that are trees now? Interesting.
I just didn't have the vocab for it the expression or articulation of, do you know what, I actually like this, right? And this is where I want to be. I remember, I'm sure a lot of people wanted to be your TV presenters.
Oh, hell yeah.
Right?
I was one of them.
Yeah, so every time I'd watch, I'd be like, oh my gosh, this just feels like I'd belong there, right?
Yeah.
And then as you grow up, you watch your top billings, and I'm like, yeah, this is it. This is it. You know, I like this, but I didn't know what this is or was, and I didn't necessarily want to be front of camera, but just in that space.
That's interesting, because as a kid, when you're watching something on TV, all you perceive is what's in front of the camera. There's not even an understanding that, there's a whole back end to this thing. That's quite perceptive of you to even realize that, there's another place that I can sit.
Yeah, there's another, and I mean, that didn't come immediately as a kid, but the older I got, the more I was like, there's more to this. You know? It's
not just the person.
There's more to this. And because I kept happy, I knew I wasn't probably going to be best front of camera, because at that time I thought it just needed like people who were vibey and whatever. Not
Charisma.
to say I'm not, right?
Yeah.
I got that, but like I feel like I could do more elsewhere, but still in that very space. Again, just the words I couldn't put together, but I knew in my mind, this is
the direction.
This is the direction that I want to go into.
What did you go and study in university at TUKS?
I did a BCom communication management. And prior to that, I actually had to do a bit of homework before I applied. And I wanted something closest to that vision that I'm telling you about in my head. Are
you talking to your parents about this? Like this vision that's in your head?
I mean, they, at some point, parents and relatives are asking, what do you want to be when you grow up, you know? And the most satisfying answer, I guess, to grown-ups would be your traditional careers, like doctor, accountant, lawyer, wow. Or you look up to someone and you're like, what does this person do? Oh, they're a lawyer. Oh, doctor, you know, so it's more of a, you give the more aspirational answer, but not necessarily maybe
the real
answer, right?
Yeah.
And then I started, kind of sort of doing the research. In my high school, there used to be career days. Where different firms or companies, corporates come in and actually just like speak on what they do. And at that time, they were also pushing maths and science as like the thing. You have to do maths and science. Otherwise, you'll be unemployed.
Your life is over.
Your life is over, right? And in that, I don't remember seeing any creative agencies there. I don't remember seeing record labels there. I don't remember seeing the media and creative space.
The non-traditional
there, right? So I think that's where, and I don't know now, I mean, this is years ago, right? I don't want to show my age, but it's years ago. And I don't know if
that's
now it's changed, right? Even schools. So the likes of your Vegas and Triple A's could have been there. And maybe they were there, but I just didn't know about it. Right. So I had to do a bit of my side research. Did what they call an aptitude test, and it did show that you're more like people's person. You could fall under psychology or marketing and comms. So I'm like, okay, this is starting to look clearer. Yes, I did have an interest in psychology, to be fair. Then my mom, I remember, was like, to do psychology, you're gonna have to like go the whole way, do your PhD, and that's when you deem yourself as a psychologist or psychiatrist, because she is or was in that space. I mean, she's retired now, right? So more social work rather. So I was like, I'm not sure.
I don't know about all that.
7 years in the school, but also I wasn't really passionate about it. And I was like, you know what? I want to do marketing.
Okay.
Then I started hearing marketing is saturated. Everyone's doing marketing. I'm like, okay, what the hell?
So
like,
what must I do
What
now?
must I do?
And you're live on Dead Radio.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Damn. I know you want this bag. Let's just be honest. Well, here's your chance to win it. Step 1. Join and become a member by clicking the link in the description below. Step 2. Comment under this video. Step 3. Relax. Jais. Here's what we're going to do. All the members are going to be entered into a raffle. Each of those members will be assigned a number. And to make sure that nothing is biased, we will use Google Number Generator to pick a winner.
And you're live on Dead Radio.
Now, you know? And so I was like, let me go BCom comms because it's got your marketing, business management, economics. So it's broader. So then I can pick where my interests lie as I'm studying. Yeah.
Damn, okay. And then you go to university.
Yes.
As you're studying this degree, are you now starting to formulate the idea or a clearer path to how you can navigate and use this degree and this knowledge that you're gaining from school?
So I'd like to believe so.
Yeah.
At least like, you know, it started being less foggier.
Yes.
But I knew core of me, I don't want to go into corporate comms where I have to be writing press releases, doing crisis management. I was like, there's still something missing from this thing.
I need to further
I
crystallize.
need to like double click on this, right?
Okay.
But outside of the studying, I'm in spaces where, you know, it's like people who are also exploring their creative ways, minds, right?
Okay.
I get called to be on like I remember the TUKS football PR team or comms team.
Dope.
It's like, okay, I'm not sure what that entails, but let's
go.
go,
Let's see.
you know?
Let's see. Yeah.
We do it for a bit.
What did that entail?
Just really like putting out
Statements or press?
no, just like word or good word for the football team. Hey, they're playing here. Know more about the team. Right? But obviously there was, I think, a bigger team doing that, but they just wanted the students to also get involved. But I'm also like in the mix of, like I'm saying, mates with like the rag team guys. People are throwing parties. People are making clothes. You know, people, like I'm saying, who are exploring their creative ways. And
you're seeing.
I'm seeing this. I'm there. I'm not necessarily taking part.
But you're seeing
I'm not
it
actively
firsthand.
there. I'm passively there, but I'm observing.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And I'm not observing to say, yeah, one day I'm gonna. It's just I'm finding myself in these spaces. Keep meeting people who are now in the industry with me. Whether they're artists, you know, whether they are also on the business side of things, who've started their own agencies, who've started their own brands, and. So it's just like a nice golden thread or 360. It's like we made it.
From there
From
to
there
here,
to
those
here.
seeds have become these trees now. Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
And then, how do you enter, or where does your journey begin after you're done with your degree?
So in my third year, I had no doubts that I was going to finish my degree in record time. So, okay, I'm doing my 3 years. It's my last year. I knew, like I'm saying to you, I didn't want to go into...
the corporate PR.
It just like, I didn't resonate with it, right? But I had my mates who, you know, I studied with and they were very passionate about it. Some are, it's interesting because we studied the same thing, but all of us are in the different disciplines of that same thing.
That.
Some stayed in academia, some are in corporate comms or marketing or in the advertising world. And then I just chose a different path, or it chose me, or it's just meant to be there. So in my third year, I was like, okay, cool. What's going to happen to me next year, right? Okay, I could do my honors, or I could go to work. Where am I going to go work? What does that work look like, right? In theory, I can tell you, because that's what we're studying. But practically, how does that look like? So come a day where honors students are graduating, and there's a lady called Brittany Priest. I'll never forget her. Brittany comes.
Shout out to Brittany.
Yeah, shout out to Brittany. I don't even know who she is, but shout out Brittany.
Shout out to Brittany.
And she was friends with Emma, who I went to high school with, Emma Pistorius. Shout out to her as well. So Brittany gives, a talk about how she's doing her honors while being an intern at a corporate communication agency. And she's just working on these cool brands. She's in the brand marketing division. Right?
That's when that seed is planted.
So now I'm like, I think you're talking my language here. Right, carry on. I'm
listening.
Walking with
I'm
you.
listening.
Walking with you. And just the things that she was saying she does on a day-to-day and the brands that they work with. I was like,
I think I like that. Okay.
Brittany, holla at your girl, or rather, I want to
I'll
holla back
holla
at
at
you,
you.
Yeah. So she gives a number and an email. And now it's closer to exams and then the June holidays, which were pretty long, right? So I reach out to her. I'm like, hey, can I just come shadow you for a day? Just want to see what you were saying
what you actually do.
looks like, and the environment and what does that entail? She's like, cool, I'll have to speak to my boss, right? And then it was a bit of a long process. It wasn't an overnight thing. I mean, they were busy and they were launching stuff as well. Then eventually, she got back to me. She's like, hey, pull up June holidays, pull up for a day or two, and then we can do that shadow work. It's like perfect. Agencies in Bryanston called FleishmanHillard, just behind Ogilvy. Cool, this is dope.
That's
I tell my parents, hey, I found this agency that, there's a young lady who's also doing, or rather did, the same degree. I just want to go see what it's about. My parents were like, do you, boo? I went, first day, when you say you want to go shadow someone, they still at work, they still doing the day-to-day, and that day may not be the most exciting day.
True.
Right? It's the admin day, maybe.
Admin day.
So you're just like, how about
I'm really not trying to be here. I thought this was fun. All you're doing is sending
we're gonna be
emails.
out and about,
Yeah.
So, she acknowledged that no day is the same. Right?
Yeah.
They may be similar, but they're not the same. Day 2, okay, we need to go check out. So they were doing, Nike was one of their clients that she was working on. And we were launching the Run Josie, the night runs, right? And I'm like, now I'm settling into.
Now this is what I came for.
Now you're talking my talk.
That's what I came for.
That's what I came for.
Yeah.
So, it's site keys, it's having to put together a media list. I'm like, oh my God, I know these names. These are people that are watch on TV or may have once or twice met through the, again, like I said, spaces that I was in. And it started getting familiar. So from the 1-2 day shadowing, they said I can stay for literally the whole school holidays, right? Which was 3 weeks, I think. So then I got into the
every
swing
day
of it.
you're going,
literally every day. Now I'm like, it's vac work now, right? It's vac work. They're paying me. I'm like,
that's amazing.
Yo, I'm so up.
You're shadowing her and the throwing.
I'm up.
Oh.
Do you understand? So cool. Then I have to go back to school. They're like, listen, we'll call you at like ad hoc basis because you've started this with us, and we actually do need someone to take care of that. So I think that was my entry to that. Good company. Worked there for a year. So I graduated, and then they hired me. Worked there for a year as an intern. Now like full term intern, and then year 2 I didn't get to stay there.
Okay.
Now I'm like, okay.
How do I? What's next?
But at least I've got experience. Still young. What do I do? Do you know what? Let me go back to school. I apply for a degree that's literally got nothing to do with what I'm telling you. I applied for a Post-Grad diploma in property development and management at Wits. I get accepted. I'm like,
okay.
That's joking. But okay, let's go.
Now it's real.
I wasn't joking, but I was like,
now it's real.
Oh my gosh, shoot your shots. You know?
Yeah.
Damn, okay. I go.
Had you been interested in property
development? There was an interest, but like not I'm going to do this.
But just in the back of your mind.
Back. Because you know when you trying to find ways of, what's next?
Yeah, what's next?
You literally just like...
you gotta try,
I wanted to do... obviously my honors. But I just remember like going for things that I was interested in and not necessarily what I was doing for some reason. Anyway, I get accepted.
What a crazy pivot.
It's like you know? I go, I mean, most of the people there were also part-time students, so they're working and studying. And then there's a friend of mine, shout out to Tsepang Makofane, Fleis, we call him Fleis. Fleis and I, we're catching up, and he had just started at Universal Music.
Okay.
Right. So.
And what was his position there? Was he also an intern?
No, he was a new business manager.
Okay.
Right. So that's where now manager. Right. Okay. So that's where then record labels, at least in SA, was starting to see how we can make money outside of just recording. Right. So what we call non-recording income. Okay. So not relying on this artist gonna record, and that's where we're gonna make money.
And the masters and that whole thing.
And at that time, it was still the physical era, so selling of CDs and vinyls. Obviously, bookings were also there, but I think artists took over their bookings and not the labels necessarily. So it was doing new business there. So I'm like, mate, what's new business now? What's this thing? So he explains, it's basically NRI, non-recording income. We're just getting new ways of making money for the business, really in its simple sense, right? That's dope. Yeah, we, there's a deal that we're trying to do with F&B and music. What are you saying? But the more we speak, the more I'm understanding, or rather at least like, sparking so much intrigue and interest, but I'm comfortable in the conversation. I'm comfortable that like I want to be a part of this, So I mean that's like a catch-up session with him. Okay, cool, mate. No, good luck. Whatever. I carry on with my studying and freelancing here and there, like PR jobs. Okay. Then I meet up with Tsepang again, and he's like, hey, we actually won that account,
the
F&B one. Dope. Okay. Then he's like, we're looking for someone to manage or project manage this thing. Dope. What does that mean, though? It means this. Okay, cool. Do you know what? Apply for the position, and let's take it from there. I apply, they call me in. Go into the office.
Now you're going to university.
Now I'm going to university. I'm like, This is big,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
I go to Universal, I have my interview. I was being interviewed by the director of the division, right? And the division was literally just him and Tsepang. Yeah, Sylvain and Tsepang. Good guys. And had the interview. I'm thinking I'm going to have to wait, for the results.
Nah.
Oh, they're like, oh, please come on Monday.
Oh.
I said, which Monday?
The Monday that's coming now?
Like the next year Monday, the upcoming.
Which Monday?
Yeah. Like, no, on Monday, come in. I think you've got an understanding of what we need and
Did
what we're
Tsepang
trying to
whisper
do.
in your ear in terms of, this is what they might ask you. This is what you need to understand.
So I think indirectly.
Yes.
So it's not like,
yes.
Okay, this is what you must say to that. I think in the talks over the months, in our catch-ups, right, amongst other things and just ideas that we throw out, we used to just bounce ideas off each other. And also the understanding, I guess, what he used to ask me what I was doing at Fleischman. So I guess he kind of married, okay, she's got some knowledge here.
Yeah.
We're looking for she's got an understanding. And also, like, the thing is kickstarting. They don't have the time to be teaching people that. So he's just like, you're a smart girl.
You'll figure it out on the fly.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
But you've got the fundamentals or the basis of what we actually trying to do. Right. I guess even in the interview, and that's why I don't think they would have hired me if I was just like not sure what's happening. Yeah. But to be very honest, I wasn't sure what was happening because I was like, okay, let's go,
Yeah.
I remember my parents, they were happy for me, but there was that concern. I had a record label.
Sure.
Because the music industry, or at least the space that we're in, because it's unconventional.
Yeah.
Or it's not the traditional.
It's non-traditional,
career that like a parent would say. Yes. When you speak music, they think you're an artist.
Yeah.
A producer and whatever. Yeah. And I'm like, no, I'm going into the business. So what, you're going to listen to music and then sell it? Those kind of questions.
I get why parents
and I get it,
sense.
But there was also the worry of it's a fast industry, like it's the boys and
there's
partying, there's drugs, there's sex, there's just a lot because of what they read about. Yeah. Right. So it's all based off what they're fed by the media. Right. Yeah. So they've never taken the time to double click and go, oh, there's more to it.
What's actually happening?
What's happening? Industry? Like there's a system running here. There's an actual machine.
It's a business.
Behind.
It's a global business.
And a multi-billion business. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Now your child is saying they're going into the system. Yeah. You don't know where in the system they are. You don't know how well oiled that machine is that she's going into. There's the comfort of, okay, it's a global company. Right? So as if fly by night. So okay, there's that comfort. Okay, there's an actual contract. Oh God, you're going there, So I go, and again, I really get thrown into the deep end, and not even in a bad way. It was just like, you have to get the ball.
Yeah, they didn't have time to coach you. Like,
there's no time. We clinched. We got this deal.
Let's go.
We need to get more deals, and now it's just the three of us in the team. Okay. So it's like the hunt. Someone must cook while you go hunt again. Right? You can't hunt and cook and serve and wash the dishes and pack the dishes again.
Yeah, it's not going to work out.
Yeah, there needs to be a role for everyone. So we're slowly building a team.
Okay.
And you're live on Dead Radio. And you're live on Dead Radio.
So at this time, you guys, you're still studying, right?
Yes.
How are you balancing this job that you clearly are in the deep end and also studying something that you pivoted to?
I was still studying because it was part-time, the classes were in the evening,
okay,
and I did
okay,
declare that I'm studying, which they were cool with.
Okay.
But eventually I did struggle.
Yeah. Balancing.
Yeah, I
both
needed
worlds.
to pick, where, especially because it's, both of them demanded me to focus and, produce the best results. Mm-hmm. And at that time, my interest is lying more on my job. And
obviously,
that's what the rags are.
Literally.
And then this side, as interested as I am, it's just like dipping, man. Yeah. And I was funding my own studies, So I was like, it's becoming a bit of an expense. Yeah. So I didn't finish. I had 2 modules left, which is so silly.
You were almost done.
Like I was just.
You were there at the finish line.
And then I went. So yeah, that's something that I was actually talking about finishing those 2 modules and just having this thing, right? I've really put it off for too long. Yeah. But going back, yes, I was studying, and it was very interesting in the class because everyone was in property development or quantity surveyors or construction. Or in the banks, but more on, home financing, property, and then really like top guys in that class, who are high up in the organizations. Yeah. Even then, they just wanted more skills or maybe another program to equip themselves. Yeah. So I'm sitting there with the big boys, and of course there were those students who, they decided to do this degree before going to work. But when we had to eventually introduce ourselves, hey, what do you do? And I'm like, I work at a record label. They're like, what you doing?
What are you doing here?
Hey, Banna. What is she doing here now? But some of the subjects I did in my undergrad, like your economics, stats, So there were some modules that made sense as to why they just helped me with critical thinking more than anything. I think that is what most degrees do. They just help you
critical thinking,
left
brain, analytical.
Because if you ask a lot of people in our industry what they studied,
completely
and it just shows that they're smart, or they
adaptable.
They're adaptable.
Teachable.
100%. They can learn and unlearn. Well, we hope so. But it just shows that your degrees aren't necessarily like you must stick to it. Absolutely.
It's not your destiny at all.
So, but they were intrigued by me being on the other side of the brain. Yeah. And even at work, they were like, "You doing what? Okay, that's cool. Anyway, we need this.
We need you to do this. That's nice.
So that's what was happening.
And then, so now you're in the record business. What do you start learning there? Like, what do you start understanding about the business of music and brands?
So I think the first campaign that we did, which was the F&B deal, right?
What was that like?
So to summarize, F&B wanted, it was basically an acquisition strategy campaign, right? Okay. F&B wanted to get more gold check account clients. Okay. So they had eBucks, which is a reward system, right? The reward system. But they needed to kind of make it more cool.
The youth. They needed the youth.
That's it. Okay. Right. Cool. Where the consumer's actually engaging with the brand, and of course open a bank account, right? Because that's, at the end of the day, that's what they want. That's what they want.
Bottom line.
Bottom
line. Yeah.
We see the cool things. That's nice.
But we need accounts to be opened and money to be put in.
Exactly. Okay. Much like any other campaign in business, right? So then they had created, and I say they because that was before I came, when obviously there's a proposal, you go for pitching, so they had suggested what we call the golden circle. So it's just like a world of entertainment, right? So once you open a bank account, you're unlocking this world of entertainment where you get free downloads, the latest exclusive news about your favorite artists, new music, behind the scenes music videos, new music videos before they drop. It's like exclusive as well, what we call money come by experiences. So experiences with your favorite artists that you wouldn't necessarily get. So say a shopping spree with Mafigizolo, which is what we actually did at that time, lunch with Black Motion, whatever with Kings of the Weekend, So things that you think, of course you can go to lunch with artists, that's because you know them, but there are fans who actually just want that one-on-one and appreciate
and
them.
I'm willing to open a
and
bank
you're
account
willing to open a bank
for
account
that.
To at least have lunch with this person.
That's a brilliant idea.
And VIP experiences where you get to stand a chance to go see at that time Nicki Minaj in New York. Right. So we ran competitions, we ran exclusive whats. So it gained traction. So much so that people who already had accounts complained to the bank to say,
I would be like, dude, nah. I'm closing this account.
What is this? I want those benefits. So then we had to open it up, and it started being not just an acquisition, but a retention strategy and somewhat a loyal or rewards program. So it over time it matured.
And these are obviously with UMG artists.
Yes,
exclusively.
So exclusively UMG artists. And that's where, the thinking of, okay, how can we make money for these artists and the business outside of the recording? It's basically giving brand strategy using the power of music. Right, in whatever sense, and not just the audio part, but the human brand side. Like these people have an audience.
And they're influential.
They're influential. The bank itself has an audience. So it's like turning a customer into a fan and a fan into a customer, which was always the saying that we'd go with. So that was the long and short of what that F&B campaign was. So I was just managing that and having to come up with new ways of making it more interesting and making sure that we actually meeting that X amount of bank accounts. Bottom line. You must never forget the bottom line. You can have the most fun, but
bottom line, bills need to be paid. Okay. So after that campaign, are you now in your mind like, okay, actually this music and brand lane is the lane I'm going to do?
Yeah.
That's when it starts formulating in your mind. Okay.
Without like even a shadow of a doubt. It didn't, so it's not like it clicked and then I was just flying through it. But in the day-to-day, immersing myself, doing the work, so not just hearing about it, but actually doing the work, I started being comfortable and knowing, okay, this is it. But for, I think like a couple of months, I dabbled into the label side now. So the more...
that's the recording side.
That's the recording side, right? The recording side where a Mang is dropping, they need these papers, your needle time, your what, making sure that admin is there, how we looking on radio. I even forgot what the radio monitors,
way before streaming.
And I was like, this is nice, but this is not what I want to do. I can't be getting calls from managers and artists saying, did you guys upload? My brother, my sister, where's your artwork? Your artwork is wrong. Hey, wait, fire. No. I bless those who do it and who do it well. but that just wasn't what
You wanted to do.
I am wired to do,
I
wanted to do. Then
you went back to...
I went back.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's something that you understand now that about, from both sides, what do brands not understand about artists, and what do artists not understand about brands? Because you became the middleman between these two worlds. Like...
I think for a long time, brands, again, really generalizing, didn't recognize or know the power of the artist for their plans, or at least their strategies, their works. I'm talking about the brands now. So you need to know that the artist is a business themselves.
True. Just like you. They
Just
also
like
have a
you.
bottom line.
Yes. Right. They also need to sell music. Yes, they need to perform. But they also have other passion points outside of music that can benefit you as a brand. Right. So, I mean, each artist has a different, let's call it passion point. So it may be this artist is in music, but very big on fashion. This artist is in music, but very big on
art.
Very
Cars.
big on sports. Very big on cars. Very big on business, on finance, on.
It's bigger than just
they
the music.
It's so layered, it's so dynamic, multi-dimensional, multi-talented.
The multi-talented.
Like they just not a artist, and that's where it ends. So that's where we needed to teach brands that, here's an asset.
It's not just
Use
the music.
it. This asset also comes with a following. This artist also can bring you a new audience, right? You can leverage off their audience. So, with brands, it can be like, we need, maybe it's say a youth brand or a brand that focuses on youth. We want more youth or more, an audience that relates to this person. How can we use this artist to draw in that new audience, but also retaining the current one
without alienating them?
Exactly.
Right?
What do we do there? And that's where we have to come in and go, okay, this is what we're going to do, right? And then for artists, where they need to know the importance of brands, is the brand will help you also upskill and upscale yourself in your discipline of not just music, but the other facets of your interests. Right. So if, again, like I'm saying, you're in the beauty space, dude, let's approach a beauty brand. Revlon, Nivea, wow. Let's see what we can do here. MAC, Bobbi Brown, nah. And how do we then collaborate? So for a very long time, artists may have felt like brands tell them what to do it like this.
And there's no
way of...
Okay, let's have a conversation.
It's like, okay, cool. We want to do this. How can we do it together? So that we're both happy. But also, you need to understand that you need to leave the creative to the creatives.
To the creative,
Like,
Did you feel like the brands were being, I don't know, not to say nosy, but a bit too, it has to go this way?
Because at the end of the day, they also have KPIs.
And they're the ones putting up.
Yes, it's like, you know what? It's a bit of a risk. You're dealing with humans.
Human beings.
Right. And creative humans can be tricky.
Very tricky.
Love them. Love us. They can be tricky.
Can be very tricky.
So it's like, okay, cool. These are the deliverables. You have to do them this way. Right? Then talent goes, I'm hearing you. But it's also not feeding me.
Doesn't make sense.
Like, how can we come together to make this work? And it's not a fight. It's just let's collab. there are some things where they are non-negotiable,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
yeah. Because they are brands.
Because it's just a brand.
Yeah, and you can't deviate from.
Cannot be wishy-washy about it.
Yeah.
Much like with the talent, there's some things they go, I absolutely cannot
I will
do
never
this.
do that. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
And you also have to understand as a mediator or the middleman to go, yeah, look, with talent, we're not going to do this. Right?
And
with brand, we're not going to do that. Right? So
Yeah.
where do we meet? Where can we find the sweet spot where we both benefit? And this deal is actually a win-win situation where it's catering to the needs of the brands, but it's also catering to the needs of the talent.
How important is understanding the art of negotiating?
It's so important.
Super, right?
Do you know what?
How did you learn? Did you learn that on the job? Did people there, did you have to do a course? Like how does that happen? Because a lot of people, the art of negotiation is such an important skill, but I feel like it's not taught. It's not taught, and people have to learn it on the fly.
Look, I had to learn on the go. Still learning on the go.
Yeah.
Till this very day.
Oh no, it never ends.
Because there's a lot of unlearning and learning.
Learning, yeah.
As you go, because
new tactics, new strategies.
The industry just is always doing this, right? So how do you also adapt? But also, there are some things that, again, going back to this is just how it is, right? And then there's some where you can formulate kind of new rules or bend things a little, just so it accommodates the environment at that time. Negotiation you can teach, but I feel like for some people it's just innate. Like it's just like
that's true.
That's
true.
You know.
But the win-win, that's the most difficult form of negotiation.
And that also comes with not just a negotiating skill, but like other skills. So
yes.
People skills.
Yes.
Learning human behavior.
True.
Knowing who you're dealing with.
True.
Who's this talent that you bring into the room? Who's the brand that you're dealing with? This is the talent's DNA. This is the brand's DNA. Right? So you don't want to step in, it's really, you have to study what you're dealing with.
Yeah.
Right? Study in a sense that
that's for me.
You have an understanding of both sides.
Yeah, both sides.
And that's where then you can start knowing, okay, this is how I'm going to go into the room negotiating, right? So it's especially in what I do, I guess much like any other thing, there's always a language for it.
Yeah.
Right, a language, a way of speaking, how this is gonna work. I feel like you can all go into the boardroom right now. We can all go there. True. And we're trying to win a deal or pitch or whatever. But it's just there's a certain language and tone and demeanor you have to go into in order to make this work. You may not win the deal. Yeah. You may win the deal, but at least you've got the toolkit. Yeah. When I'm going into this room or when I'm speaking to someone, these are the tools exactly. Yeah. And you literally have to take them all out. Or sometimes not even all out. Yeah. You know which spanner to use.
The one that you need.
You know which one to here, go more in here. So it's just also finessing. Also just
the finesse. You have to hit the finesse button. And the charisma.
Because you're dealing with humans. I always say brands are run by humans.
That's true. It's not buildings.
More to a human.
Yeah.
A human who's subjective. True. A human who may be objective.
True.
A human who feels like they don't like this artist.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
Yeah.
It's not that
and
they
that's
don't want
a real thing.
Yeah. I feel like, no, I don't feel them. Why don't you feel them?
That's
or
true.
even the talent
that's
to say,
true.
brand X wants to work with you. Nah.
I met the brand manager 2 years ago. I'm never fucking with them.
Who's there?
Yeah.
Nah.
He's a dick. He didn't give me a lighter.
We talk about work here, you know,
that.
but people tend to bring personal
things
or emotions into it.
Now, as the middle man, how did you balance the human element of it? Like, we're at work and bottom line, right? But I'm coming in with my ego as the artist, and the brand manager is also coming in with whatever he's coming in with.
Right.
How did you balance that for the outcome? Like, how?
You see, that's something that I think you can't necessarily teach.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it goes to your character.
Yeah. It's intuitive.
It's innate. It's intuition. It's how you're compassionate to people.
Yeah.
And going back to then, remember I wanted to do psychology.
Yes.
So I've always been interested in human behavior and the why someone is behaving like this. So I always feel like there's the psyche behind this person's reasoning, right? So I kind of like double click to see, okay, this person may be acting like this because there's a trigger here, there's a trauma here, or they just like going through something. Or like I try to see, and it's not always the case where it's like, shame, this person's going through something. Maybe that's just the way they are.
That's how they are.
And there's absolutely no excuse or justification as to why they're like this. But just I always want to relate to the talent as human as possible, respecting their craft, yes, but I want to know you as the talent or as the human. So tell me your real name. DJ.
Not AKA what. Yeah. No, I hear that.
Like,
I hear that.
Tsepang.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we start relating on a human level.
level.
From there we can take it. And you're not saying be my best friend or whatever. But relationships also start forming. You bump into each other. They start calling you for help. You start going them for, recommendations. Hey, actually, I think you'd be good for this and that. So you start formulating then a relationship with this person. And artists also know who they want to work with or who they don't want to work with. There's an energy, there's a vibe check. And if the vibe doesn't check,
then
then
I'm not doing
check
it.
out.
I'm not doing
it. You're not doing it because you don't want to do or work with people who make you feel uncomfortable,
I hear that.
or who just constantly bring negativity, who are just saying no to everything, or just like it won't work. But also you don't want someone who says yes to everything that might not work.
That's true.
So
true.
It's very important to also have a team that balances everyone's personalities out. It's not that you guys are not gonna clash. But I'd rather argue with you and be happy with you than anyone else, much like any other relationship, right? And that's why you'll see artists jumping from manager to manager, or some stick with the same manager the whole time. Some bring in maybe their family members to come manage them, or their mates. Next thing there's a fight. Next thing their personal relationships become tikinyana. Now you're not best friends anymore because you dogged me, and so just like you want people who compliment you, who will take you to the top,
and who'll keep it real with you,
but keep it real. Keep it real. So that's how I say, like, I always want to meet you at you. At your, even at your imperfections.
At the base.
At the
Let's
base.
start at the base.
Let's start.
And then we'll build.
At the beginning. Then we'll build.
Okay. How long were you with UMG for?
Geez, like 7 years.
Okay, so that was like your home for a
that was
really
that
large
was
part of your life.
a lot of the teachings were there. You meet people from everywhere. The good thing, because it's a global company, you start also engaging with your global counterparts, which opens up,
another world,
which is so good. You start learning how the other markets
are
operating, and knowing that will it work in this market or not. You meet not just talent, but brands. You start having relationship with brands, and again the people behind the brands. So even if they move from one brand to another, you start have a relationship with
that person.
And they also know that I once worked with label. Was it good? Or maybe I don't want to work with it anymore, which I mean it's not the case, but like you also, at least in my line of the specialized line of work that I do, you also meet other disciplines of creatives. So advertising people, film people, actors, actresses,
now it gets wider
arts,
than just
so now it starts doing this. Right, visual artists, this artist, directors, producers of not just music but content. Then you start kind of opening up and also knowing, I can do this beyond just music. I can expand, and that also goes back to where I started at a corporate comms thing, where now I didn't just want to be in one lane or discipline, and that's where I am. So I needed to do that, and to be very honest, being at Universal for that long, there were moments where you're like, okay, things are becoming a little redundant.
I've been doing this.
I've been doing this, and just hearing people open up your own shop, But when you don't feel ready, you don't want to rush yourself as well. But the good thing is the relationships were there. So my network was solid. The relationships were solid.
You didn't burn bridges.
I didn't burn bridges. If you think I burned bridges,
hit us in the comments if you know that you burned bridges.
I'm sorry.
But most of your contacts,
no, 100. There's absolutely no one who I've picked up the phone and they were like, wait, no. In fact, they were like, where have you been? And I've got this thing. It's like I'm learning to ask for help, especially because I'm doing my own thing now. I'm learning to ask for help. I'm learning to say, this one is a bit tricky for me. I don't know. And when you don't know, say I don't know. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself in a mess. Right? Yeah. I'm learning to say, I definitely do know. Yes. Right? Yes. Pick me. Yeah. Because I can do this. I know exactly what needs to happen here. Right? I've got the tools. I've got the expertise. I've got the knowledge. I've got the experience. Put me in. So there's a confidence that comes with it. Right? And that's by finding your voice. As you go along. Because imposter syndrome is a real thing.
Oh no, it's a very real thing. It's a very real thing. But it's a mind trick that you're playing on yourself.
It's such a mind trick. And to be very honest, I think COVID helped me find my voice.
Did it give you that push?
Yeah. I was like, I keep hearing people saying I'm doing amazing. Why am I not believing it?
Yeah, why don't I believe it?
Why do you feel like other people are amazing? And they are, those who've done the work. But why are you shortchanging yourself? So I needed to just like introspect. And I'm like, Now you don't downplay yourself. And I found my voice. And the thing about, if you're not going to find your voice, or you are rushed by people, or if you don't know who you are, people will tell you who you are.
The world will tell you.
They'll tell you who you are, whose you are,
how
you are, why you have to be there. It's like they're gonna start going, but when you can't do more than this. This is your ceiling.
Here's your box.
This is your box.
Stay in there.
Yeah. What do you mean you're gonna start a podcast? Since when did you start talking?
True.
Oh, you speak?
Oh, yeah. That's true. That's true.
Or you love fashion? Or you do this, you do so. People tend to project.
Yeah, they project.
You know, because
They
maybe
project.
they've got something they want to do and they can't do it. They feel like no one else can do it.
It's more about them and less about you.
Yeah.
That's one thing you need to realize about
Yeah.
life. It's more about them and less about you.
Mm.
So you're in COVID. Is that when now you're like, fuck it. Let me actually take this leap of faith and yeah.
Yeah, but you know, I was still at the label.
Yeah.
But because we're not going in, you've got a bit of more time. And I was alone for a very long time. So I could then navigate myself. And what I want to do. And I actually started doing live, remember Instagram lives?
Yes.
Right, where I'd invite talent, and I wanted to speak about just like industry related stuff, but also get to know more about them. I felt like I may have know them, but I want their audience also know them.
Like,
you know.
Yo, this guy's actually funny. You guys didn't actually
I'm just
know
like
that.
the things that you're reading about this guy.
I hear that.
Like there's more to
hear
this
that.
person.
You wanted to show the human element.
100%. You know, because they've also given me the courtesy of showing their humanness with me.
Yeah.
So I did Instagram lives, and I was just so in awe of everyone that I'd asked to be on. I've never gotten to know. Like, it was, of course, it would be a pleasure to
I'd love to
come on. I'd love to.
I'd love to.
I was like, Ebana. You know, this is cool. This is so nice. You know, like the ones who couldn't go on, which is like one or two, it's because maybe they couldn't make it because there was another commitment, but there was no. Oh no, you know,
was like, you know what, fuck that.
No, like,
Label?
what
No.
is this? No. So that also just opened up like, damn, okay, we're actually cool. Of course I knew that, but just now like, you know, we cool.
For your own thing.
They trust me because a lot of these conversations peel off some layers and you start like just being comfortable. Now you're gonna say things that maybe you don't usually say, but you've created a safe space so that person can definitely. There's like people watching, but because it's this, you know, it's safe. They feel like okay,
it's safe.
So it's cool. There's nothing malicious. There's
and I'm
no
sure that
malicious
felt
intent.
good because it wasn't a UMG thing. It's labels thing.
Yes. That's what I'm saying.
Dope,
That's where I started going. I'm dope.
Yeah.
You know, I get bad. At all. You know? And in there, I think in my head, I started breaking up with the label. You know, how you break up before the
way
action.
before.
Yeah.
You're just like,
just
you know
like,
what? It's not working.
it's not me.
Okay.
Or rather, it's me, not you.
Yes.
Or like whatever the
whatever,
reasons may be.
whichever way you want to take
you know,
it.
And I started just slowly, you know, creating next steps in my head, putting myself out there when people ask, hey, are you still at? I am, but you know, and nothing against the label. It was just like, it's time,
It's
eh?
time. Yeah, you
don't want to be part of. I was like my 20s and I left.
You don't want to be the furniture now. Now everyone. When they
and I
come
felt
out-
like they knew that she's there, right? She can do 1, 2, 3, 4. She got this. Even talent would come, but then I got talent who are not even in the label or in the label who just like, I don't work with you. Not necessarily.
I'm not here for.
You know, you know. And I was like,
you.
no.
Yeah.
Conflict and whatever. Then I was like, fuck it.
Yeah.
I'm like gonna leave, you know. So then there were a couple of offers. I was struggling, and I chose to go to an agency that had made me an offer.
Okay. And you basically continued the work you were doing, but in a wider.
100%.
Besides just.
So it wasn't
music
necessarily
and
the core of it wasn't music, but it was culture-based stuff,
Okay.
which then encapsulates, I mean, everything.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah.
Okay. Damn, what's been a super huge highlight for you on your journey?
You know,
I know there's been a lot.
yeah, and even my pause shows that maybe I don't celebrate enough.
Yeah.
Or I don't highlight enough,
like things that happen.
Things that I've done.
On your journey.
You know, even the people that I've met.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, man, there's been highlights that maybe in my head I'm like, this one is not a highlight, I'm downplaying it. Or maybe it's I'm over.
Do you not pat yourself on the back enough?
I don't think I do.
Yeah.
I don't think I do. I don't simmer in the joy and in the success of what I've done.
You're always,
it's like, I did this, nah? But then there's a bit of a scam, and I'd say, yeah, but Mang also helped write an email. No, you did
that was you. That was all you.
You closed the deal.
That was
You fostered this.
Yeah.
You went. It's your work. Yeah. And you get a bit, that's where I told you about the imposter syndrome, right? Yeah. So it's like, hey, that's nice.
That's
I
when
did
it kicks
this,
in.
you know. Until you see your work being played or someone relaying it to say, man, I worked with her on this campaign. Oh, it was so
amazing.
Good. It's like, oh, damn.
Okay.
Or, hey, the campaign was nominated for, or won a, you know, I'm like,
oh shit, that was me.
Yeah. So I struggled. I'm working on it. Okay. With celebrating. And I've done
a lot.
Fucking great stuff, right? Like, you know.
You have to pat yourself on the
I've
back.
given people money, eh?
Yeah. I hear that.
Because sometimes I think and I'm like,
I changed your destiny.
What a wow.
Literally.
You know, and I'm not one person who will go wanting to flaunt it. That I gave. It's like I keep moving, but I have to acknowledge that I played a role in this person's.
And where you are today.
You know, so highlights, going back to your question. See, I'm even going thinking it says so. Next question. I mean, I've worked on and with huge brands and artists. So I did the Nasty C Johnnie Walker deal.
Dope.
I did the Courvoisier deal with like Nadia, Younger Chief, Prince KB. We did some stuff with Music is King.
Okay. There's so many.
There's so many that I can't just and even in my own capacity, you know.
Yeah.
So, I think a lot of things have been highlights. Yeah. I've just been so scum and shy to voice it.
And always on to the next.
It's like, okay, cool, but we gotta go get more business. Okay. You know?
Okay, it's 2024. How are you feeling about the year? What's your direction and energy for the year? Where are you taking it this year?
So it's such an exciting time for me.
Yeah.
I may not look excited.
Yeah.
I really am excited for the year.
Yeah.
Just because I have built a base, right? So I have started my own agency.
Okay.
Called 2704 Creative House.
Okay.
2704 being my birthday, 27 April.
Okay.
27th of April.
Okay.
Creative House. Right.
Dope.
So the reason why it's a creative house, it's not just music.
Okay.
It's literally everything culture and creative,
in
right?
One hub.
Yes. As much as the more, let me say, the cash cow, maybe the music side, but I also concentrate on other things like live experiences, brand strategies, curation of events, and right, because I actually have the expertise, the experience of doing
done it.
everything. So
done
what I'm doing in my agency is not a new thing.
Yeah.
It's just now doing it
Okay.
on my own, right? Of
Okay.
course, with other strategic partners.
Partners, yeah.
So I started that towards the end of last year,
Okay.
and you know, it's been interesting. You know, when you start
Journey.
something new, you're just like, am I sure? You know,
Gotta take the leap of faith.
yeah.
That's how it goes.
Oh, I'm like, there's so many agencies. So what?
So what?
They're
So what?
not my agency.
No one has your perspective.
No one has my
like-
perspective. No one
True.
is me.
True.
Not like I had to literally just like drill that in my head that the Lebogang Kgothadi
At all.
like at
One on
all.
one.
If you're out there,
Yo, hit us up in the comments,
if you're
please.
out there,
Please hit us up in the comments. Let's figure this out.
come chat your chat,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah,
But I've,
yeah.
you know, I'm me. I think the reason why I've come this far is because of who I am, you know. So I can definitely do this. So there's so many things in the pipeline that already this year I'm, or rather the past couple of days or week. Already people are reaching out, yo, we need to do that. You know, the aim is to have core clients and then consult where I can. There's like huge, I just got off a call yesterday with such a big property that wants my expertise, you know, that I've worked on before. And they just like, even the global guys are saying, you must be on this. So we coming to you. We need you. I'm like, damn, okay, cool. Well, I'm here, you know. And in the call, they're like, okay, we're going to have to take your direction because clearly you know what you're doing. So it's those kind of things that want you to push and, you know. So yeah, I'm looking forward to really doing very impactful things that are not just for a tick, but will grow the industry as well. You know, I want to better the industry.
Because you also understand the industry from the other side.
And the reason why I used to, you know, dabble and have so much interest in the wider scope of the business, of the music business, and just the creative and
culture,
entertainment and media space, is so that when I do my own thing, I know, like, I'm not just speaking of hearing I've done, you know. And of course there are people that you can outsource who have more skills and can specialize this thing. But at least I know I can go to you and we collaborate on this thing, make it work, right? Okay. So there's really big things coming. I'm sure everyone says that, but big things are coming. Big things are coming. I'm want to improve myself in every aspect of my life, you know, because you cannot just focus on wanting your work. Like mentally, I really just want to be stronger as well. Physically, going back to the gym.
Let's go.
Let's back get to it. Running and cycling. Those are my interests, you know. And just being a better person, man. Like sometimes when you're going through stuff, or like, especially with starting a new company, you may find yourself like this to a point where you haven't made time for your loved ones, you know, and they may feel neglected. You yourself may neglect yourself because the part of you is just trying to push business, you know. So I'm just, you know, putting my head up. I know what I want now. I know what I don't want. Again, that just goes with the progress of doing the work. But I'm very excited for the year.
Okay. And what's your last word to the youth out there? Anyone who's trying to figure it out in the industry, what's your last word to them for 2024?
Man, and I said this earlier, like, one, know yourself. You know, once you know yourself, that's when you can start navigating your passions. Stay focused, disciplined, consistent. It's difficult.
It's tough.
Offline, we were speaking about showing up. Right? There are days where we don't want to show up at all. Right? Where you're not at 100%. but that 10%
Yeah,
that you
10%.
have, give that 10% 100%.
Yes.
Right.
Yes,
So
yes,
if you feel like you're just not in it,
yeah.
give what you have the full energy. Right.
Yeah.
And you'll try again tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you're at 100%, then that's great.
Let's
then
go.
give it 100%.
Yeah.
And just remember to always be compassionate, man, and kind and gentle with yourself. This world is a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. We're all trying to make it. We're all trying to be very successful. We're all trying to get the bag. But just, at the end of the day, know who you are. Work on constantly improving yourself. Self-improvement. Once you improve yourself, it's easier to improve other things around you. True. At least the ones you can control in improving. So yeah, man, stay focused, stay obedient, disciplined, and most of all, be kind to yourself as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in to another special episode of Dead Radio. Please like, comment, subscribe, and We will be back with another one. Hey, Vanna!
And you're live on Dead Radio.